What up? It's time for recess. So, you remember back in the day when you were a kid, the first phone you ever got? The first
Yeah.
cell phone, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I just saw like a meme on Instagram too, and it was about the Nokia cell phone. And it was like it was lodged in like I don't know, a brick. And like it reminded me of like that, like back in the day, that phone I had. Like that thing wouldn't break at all.
And I don't know if it's Nokia or one of the companies, they're making a new flip phone.
I heard about this.
Yeah. Which I never had a problem with flip phone, obviously, before. Because even like I had a flip phone, people had like the sidekick, that like, remember that phone that like it flipped up and there was like the giant keyboards, like a mini
Yeah, yeah.
freaking, like that was so cool. Like I know I always liked the flip phone, it was fine. But yeah, I forget which company's making the new flip phone. But it actually might be Nokia, but I'm pretty sure Nokia like is not doing well. But that's whatever.
I mean, I definitely agree. Like, I mean, I it's not even like I didn't mind the flip phones. I actually really like the phone, and I would even like love to just still have one. I
I
mean,
know,
I
I
like
never.
my iPhone, but like
Yeah.
I think the flip phone is so cool. Like, if you talk about burner phone, like
Dude,
just to have something on the side, but like
I had a burner phone because literally, because like when did you, all right, so when did you get your first phone? What grade?
um, I would probably have to maybe like seventh grade.
Okay, so that was, I think that's the generic, like I'm pretty sure like our time frame,
I
like
think,
that's when most kids
yeah,
got it. But like
I
I
think
wasn't
the.
allowed to.
What do you mean?
Like my
Like, why not?
parents did not buy me a phone in middle school. Like I wasn't allowed to get one because my sister didn't get one until like high school. and and then so I wasn't allowed to have one, so I bought a burner phone in middle school so I can
No,
so I
you
can
didn't.
talk to my girlfriend at the time.
No
And then yeah,
shot.
you
Did
like
your
pre.
so your parents never knew that you
I
had a
don't I
cell
don't
phone,
think so. No, I never brought it up. But yeah, I had to
and
like
you got away with it? Wow,
prepay for the texts, like in minutes and stuff. Like I mean, I'm pretty
you
sure
sneaky
it was
little
like
shit.
$20, but like
Wait, so time out. You had the money for a burner phone
it was very
to like
cheap.
prepay for? Yeah, I know
Yeah,
it was probably cheap, but like back in the day, I mean,
I was
we were
refing, dude.
what?
I was refing soccer back then.
Oh, so you had a little extra
I
side
think
cash
so.
there.
I'm pretty sure. Yeah, dude. I've always been. Yeah.
See, like I was always bugging my parents for a phone just because. I mean, it was you were cool if you had a cell phone back
Yeah. I
in the
didn't. I
day,
didn't care until everyone started having them. Then I was like, okay, well, I want to
right?
talk
I
to my
mean, like
friends and shit. Yeah.
that was the thing too. It wasn't even necessarily to be cool. It was just like everyone had it, and I know that seems like oh, it's you just wanted to be like everyone else, but it wasn't just that. It was like everyone was calling each other, like hang out on their cell phones now. Like I
Exactly.
still had to call my friend's parents' house and be like, hey, is so and so there?
Yeah.
Can they come hang out? And it's like, dude, why can't I just call them on their cell phone? The other
Did,
thing is like I kind of like scam the system. So like in seventh grade, like I said, when I got my first phone, I'm pretty like this is the year I think I got it was because that's when I stopped getting a bus to school. I had to walk or ride my bike. And I kind of like scammed the system where I told my parents, like, listen, this is a safety precaution in case something ever happened. I
true.
might need a
Yeah.
phone to call you guys. So like I got away with it that way, and that was kind of how I got my first phone.
Can you
So
imagine the kids nowadays like having to call the family's house and be like, "Hey, like I just want to know if so and so's there." Dude, like people would be
fuck.
so anxious. Like they wouldn't be, but they wouldn't want to do it. They would just not call because they
Are
just.
you dude, are you kidding? People don't even call each other anymore. It's all
Exactly.
texting.
Yeah, dude. They would be like people just would stop hanging out because people are just so scared like to do that. It's embarrassing
Which is
almost.
so sad. It's
Yeah.
so sad. Like honestly, it's the phones and like texting as as much as I do text now, like I still pick up the phone and call people, but at the same time, like texting has ruined people's sociability. If that's a word, I
So
mean, if I'm using that
sociability,
rightly,
maybe I'm not sure actually.
whatever, yeah, you know what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Like people just can't talk to each other anymore.
And that's the thing. That's what bothers me when so many people are like it's so. Like they talk about they feel so anxious when they go out in public. They go to restaurants or bars. My anxiety, blah blah. Blah. Yeah, the reason is because you don't know how to freaking talk to people because you did it to yourself. And like, I mean, not like in society, obviously changed, but like, it's
Well,
not like
exactly.
I don't feel bad for people that like can't. So it goes down to the same like public speaking stuff like that. It just literally just takes practice. You have to do it to be
Right.
okay at it. It's really not that hard.
Like you know how important it is to be able to communicate
Mm-hmm.
like in general, like not even just like I'm talking like in all of life's aspects, like verbal or any type of communication, if it's over the phone and face to face, whatever. But like to be able to get your point across is so critical. It's such a great skill to have within like whether it's your career, with friendships, family,
Relationships.
anything, relationship, exactly. So the fact that like like texting has taken so much control, it's like they don't people aren't or, like especially the younger generation isn't gonna realize it until like I don't know. I think after college,
Yeah,
in
because
my
like
mind, I
because
think after
being
college is when you're going into the real world.
you
You're
have to
getting into the
interview.
workplace,
That's the big thing.
exactly,
Being a good
and they're gonna be sitting there
interviewee.
behind
Yeah.
behind the desk on an interview, shaking in their
Yep.
boots.
Not gonna know how to answer questions and stuff like that. I'm a good interviewer.
It's
Interviewee.
Are you?
Yeah. I
I
think
mean,
at least.
to me, it's more of like I just try to make the interview process as much of a conversation as I possibly can. Because
Exactly.
to me,
Yeah.
it's like I don't mind talking.
Nah,
Like I'm talking right now.
and
Like
that's the thing. People love to like talk, like listen to themselves talk. You know.
yeah, but also the main thing. I mean, I don't want to get too far into like coaching about like interviews, but you really want them. You don't want to talk too much. You want
Hmm.
them to be doing the talking. One of my professors back in college used to say, if a person on an interview is talking more than you, that's a good sign because they're trying to sell you on the position and they like you.
Exactly.
So obviously, yeah, just talk. If you like to talk, that's good. And do your thing, but make sure you're listening as well. Make sure that because if you, the other thing too, is you don't want to come off like you're all about yourself. You have to obviously on an interview, it is a time to be a little bit cocky, because you're trying to put yourself out there and show your capabilities, but you gotta listen, you gotta talk.
I know
But all right, let's
there's
get
a
off the interview process. What?
true. I was just gonna say it's kind of just back in like there's a difference between and very important difference actually between confidence and being cocky. You know,
Between what'd you say? I'm sorry.
confidence and being cocky.
Oh yeah.
So like
It's I think you're
that's
right
also a
where there's a
skill.
big difference, but it's almost I think it could be a very fine line though because I don't think it's necessary. Confidence and cocky can also come down to um like your
Speculation in
verbiage,
yourself. No, that's true. Yeah,
like the way you say it.
true.
You know what I mean? Like because if you're I don't want to I don't know like a direct example off the top of my head, but I think tone of voice and the way you say things can really jump you over the line of being from a confident person to a cocky
And
person.
that goes back to texting, talking online,
Right. And
online
being able to communicate.
online dating, all that stuff. Yeah.
Oh, let's not get started on online dating.
But yeah, no,
You know my feeling on
I
that.
know conversations are hurting now, and I get. I
Right.
mean, at the same time, but at this okay. So what about this? Do you think you should work on being a better communicator online through text messages? Is that a skill? Through emails? Is that going
It's
to be more important?
well, it's going to be a big skill you need to have too.
Hmm.
But I think communicating in person, you're not going to get a job. Well, for the most part, there are interviews that are conducted online and stuff like that. But it's pretty much a FaceTime type thing, Skype or whatever. So you're gonna have to talk to someone. It's not always going to be through you know letters and words on a screen. So you're gonna have to be able to communicate. But texting, emails, like that is hugely important in the workplace.
Hmm. I agree.
And being able to come up and compose an email that sounds right, sounds professional, uses the right terminology, like that is important.
Yeah.
Especially if you're dealing, depending on the line of business you're in, dealing with different clients, larger scale clients too, that, you know, take those little intricate like sayings or things that you might put in an email to heart,
Hmm.
and it's important. So I don't know. That could help that aspect for them, but they might not get that job if they can't communicate in person.
No, I agree. Yeah.
So, um, just side note back to
Yeah. How we
the
get here
interview
from?
process
Oh,
because
interviews.
we're all over the place right now, which is fine. I don't mind. But like back to the interview process, when I said like just make it a conversation, like you want to be as like calm as possible.
Yeah.
Like and calmness comes from being confident.
And
Because if you're
posture.
confident, your posture right. But like if you're confident, like that means you know your worth
You're
and you
prepared.
know that exactly.
Yeah.
Confidence comes from being prepared. Like
It's
I
very easy to
forget.
prepare for an interview.
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely. There's a ton of different things that I do. But here's the thing. In my mind, like like for example, how many days or like are you preparing for an interview the day before, or are you preparing a few days before and doing a little bit of research, or like what's your process?
Depending on how big of an interview it is, if you're, if it's like your dream job or dream, event, anything like that, I would say, a few days in advance would not hurt to just start browsing. Be just, you kind of just get your mind starts going what you should you think about. But like if it's just like a normal job interview, I think day before is okay. Understand the company, read the basics of all that, and then you can kind of know who you have to research who you're talking to, just in case they,
Hmm.
like, so they when they talk about their background, you kind of already know, and you can maybe either throw a comment or two about that. But then and then I would definitely just recommend like if you're like really nervous or just you have no idea this is your first interview, watch some videos on interviewing tips. You read some stuff. I think that that's fine. So I think at that point, if it's your first interview, I'd say a 2 day, like start a few days before just to get your feet wet. But I don't think it's necessary to study for a week before an interview, unless it's
Right.
like
Yeah.
unless it's like a crazy med school interview, like those like some of the
Right. Yeah.
yeah. But
The position might like require you to actually study up on a few
exactly,
things,
yeah,
depending, and sometimes during the interview process they'll tell you that, like, listen, hey, we're going to ask you some questions on this, like, be prepared,
hmm,
which is a fair thing in interviews. Like, I think that should happen
yeah,
because 9 times out of 10, I mean, I wouldn't say 9 times out of 10, but there's some things that in college that you learn that you need to brush up on afterwards.
exactly,
You're studying so many other topics in school that you don't memorize literally every single thing, but if you brush up on it, you'll be fine. So I agree. I think that a whole week is a little bit much. There's times like interviews that I've had that I've done fine on, like actually pretty well, and it was I just the day before I did some research throughout the day, and I'm not talking just an hour worth of research. Like I went back into the company, did a bunch of different things, and prepared a couple of different. You know what I do too? I talk to myself.
okay,
As weird as that
yeah,
might sound, I talk to myself, like whether it's in my room by myself, like as if I'm talking to an interview person and how I would respond. And I think that that will help with your confidence too, knowing at what certain things you want to say about certain practice questions you might use and actually saying it so that it comes off the tongue right. If you've
yeah,
said it a few times, it might flow better once you're actually in the room with them.
I agree.
Let's cut the interview process here down. Let's get off this topic real quick. I mean, let's full circle back to the phones because that's where we started here. But where did you? All right, so you said you went from your burner phone. Where'd you go after that?
I went just to the normal flip phone,
Flip
just
phone. Okay.
yeah, dark. I forget the name of it. And then from the flip phone, I went to the NV Touch. And then, even though, dude,
Gotcha.
I had that flip phone for a few years. Like
Yeah.
I didn't get an iPhone, I think, until college.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I think I had the iPhone in high school. I got it for a birthday gift. But it's funny because the flip phone I had, which I also had for a long time and I really loved, in high school, I had another phone before I got the iPhone, and that phone broke, and I went back to the same iPhone I had.
yeah, yeah.
So it was like one of those, like, it was old reliable. Like, you were able to go back to that thing, it still worked. I was able to put it. I don't know how it worked. Do they have SIM cards or something that you could just plug it in
I
and you
think
were
they probably had to. Yeah, they probably still
or
have SIM
something. There
cards.
was
Right.
something where I was able to go back to my old phone and
Mm-hmm.
just hook it up, and it worked fine. And I had that in high school for a little bit, and until I got the iPhone. And the one thing that I remember, which I kind of miss, is it brings back memories. But obviously we don't have that now. But do you remember typing in, like, what was it called, T9 Word or something?
The word, yeah. You hit the first letter, and it kind of like,
Yeah, you had to hit
yeah,
the certain buttons
yeah,
a couple times or something like that. Like,
yeah.
that was interesting. And I got at first I had no idea how I was doing this. Like when I was texting
It
for the
was
first time on the
satisfying
phone.
when you could type fast and like a full sentence real quick. It was like,
Yeah.
dang, like this person, like texts a lot.
Dude, it brings back memories. But then now that I have the iPhone, like, from college or from high school on, throughout college, I had a couple of obviously different versions of the iPhone, but I have the 11 now with the two cameras. Because I mean, I don't really care about my phone. I just want something that's gonna work for me. Like, I don't need worry about the camera or like all the crazy
Yeah, I just
functions of
yeah.
different things. Like, I just want something that's gonna be fast, reliable. Like, obviously, I want to be able to use it for certain things, but as long as I can text, call, go on my apps that I like, and take some pictures, have storage. Like I remember my old phone was just so slow. I had no storage ever. I had to delete stuff all the time. Like I don't want that.
No, I agree.
I don't
Yeah.
care about all the crazy functions as long as my phone just functions. Period.
Yeah. All right, recess is over, guys. Email us, write us in. If you guys have any other stories or topics you want us to talk about.
Yeah, you guys know the deal. We'll see you next time.